Leicester were 14 minutes away from being in the Champions League next season. I mean, this is a really big day, actually, for Chelsea and Thomas Tuchel, because if they'd have not got into the top 4 today, they would have gone into that Champions League final knowing that...
It's a huge day, Jake, simply because you go into that, you know, you think of Tuchel. 2 weeks ago, he's negotiating a new deal. He's about to go into an FA Cup final there was expected to win, comfortably in the top 4, and taking the team to the first Champions League final in 8 years. And he's in such a strong position. All of a sudden, after about 70 minutes today, he's looking over his shoulder, knowing the history of the club, thinking, we could end up at the Champions League, possibly lose both cup finals, and then there could be a change of, as mad as it sounds, a change of direction. So it shows, you know, my emotions were going up and down, you know, because of that. But for Thomas Tuchel today, he would be saying...
But that they didn't have the ability to win that game today.
Do you know what I think it is, JJ? I think Chelsea's strength is their young player, their inexperienced players, fearless players. So when they played Real Madrid, they played with such intensity and played. But I think in situations like this, it's the manager's job to really drive the players leading up to it, because all of a sudden as the week was going by, you're thinking, Aston Villa away, we're going to win that, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, Aston Villa, that's a tough game. So I think the players may have took their foot off the pedal a little bit, and it might be a little lesson to them. A little smack bum in the dressing room afterwards by the manager, and then go and enjoy the cup final.
But we spoke about this before in the lead up to this game today. Managing yourself towards a Champions League final. Normally at this stage of the season, there's nothing to play in. Normally you've either won the league or the league's situation's finished and it's took care of itself. But when you've got a game that means so much, like today did for Chelsea, and you've got the final coming in 10 or this week, at the end of this week, some players are almost subconsciously sitting there going, I can't get injured, do I go full 100 mile an hour? Yeah, but you don't want to, but some players you can't help it. Yeah.
But that's now their 2 biggest games of the season, arguably, the FA Cup final and this game, to guarantee themselves finishing top 4 when they haven't done it. So now, third time lucky in the Champions League final. My big thing, as soon as I saw Kante wasn't playing, I just didn't fancy him at all. I don't know. I think, as you said, Joe, I think as the week went on, Villa in a good space, beating Tottenham. You know, fans are back as well. Grealish is back. You had a feeling they'd want to put a show on, you know, for the fans that were going to be at the game. No Kante. It was all just leaning towards that, and I just thought, well, you know, Chelsea got an opportunity here to show what they're about, and you know, when it really matters, get that win. The win against Leicester was huge, but to not be able to follow that up. Going into this game against City, I don't know where that sits with Thomas Tuchel. You know, I think it's going to be tough enough as it is, but he's got to find a way to get a tune out of it.
It's almost like I think he's got more question marks going into this game than answers, which is not a good place to be before the biggest game of the season.
Question marks also now then around Leicester. I mean, we can turn the clock back now, can't we? 8 days ago, we were at Wembley, we were seeing them win the FA Cup. It felt like a significant day for them after that long wait. This was their 5th attempt to do it. They finally managed it. And then we start talking about Brendan Rodgers after the game, and quite rightly, you know, the comments were, well, why on earth would you leave Leicester? Because this is a team on the up, there's constant progress, smart owners, good players, a young manager who's really making waves. Now suddenly he and Leicester have to come to terms with the fact they were 14 minutes away from the Champions League, and it hasn't happened once again. I suppose the biggest question for Leicester fans is, no Champions League football, how does that alter the mindset of the manager when we know that there is a job in North London up for grabs and a few others possibly?
What, in the Europa Conference League? I don't think so.
Listen, right. All I'm going to say on the matter is the job he's got at Leicester is a better job right now. You know, I think that what he's done for that team over the last couple of years is brilliant. As a squad of players, they're a top squad of players. There's no doubt the disappointment is going to be within them. But winning something is a huge step, under his management at that football club. For the first time in their history, obviously. And I still feel like that'll be something they'll feel like they can build on now. And they've got a great recruitment system there. You know, if you're Brendan Rodgers, you're not leaving Leicester right now.
I don't think it changes anything for Brendan or for Leicester. I don't think they quite got the squad to compete in the Champions League. It would have been lovely to go in the Champions League game, but any players that's coming to England, top players that are going to improve any of our top 4 or 5 teams, they're going to go to a Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool before they go to Leicester. I think this is just it's a little blip. They're still going in the right direction. Brendan needs to figure out what he does within his management, because if you go back to his Liverpool days when they crumbled at the last bit, something maybe in terms of how you set up the training for the team, did they die in the last 6 weeks of the season? It's happened twice now with Leicester. You take the Celtic period. I think maybe something Brendan needs to address, because he was a top manager. If they're going to make the next step, they need to sort out that last 6 weeks of the season.
The intensity was quite tough for them, wasn't it? Their last 3 games, when you think about, the emotion of the cup final, and then to go straight to Stamford Bridge to get a result, and then to play against Tottenham. I think the way the cards fell was really tough on the players as well.
Yeah, but when it consistently happens for like when you've got a manager, for instance, like who consistently gets players injured, there's something he's doing with his coaching staff and training. If a manager's teams consistently fall off at the tail end of a season, and also I'm just thinking it might be something that can be looked at to improve them. But you're right, JJ's right. The Leicester job is a better job at the moment than the Spurs job.
And by the way, let's not get away from the fact that he's done a remarkable job there. Yeah. It's been a difficult season. He's had a lot of injuries as well, by the way. So he's had to shuffle the pack at times. But what I love about the way that Brendan Rodgers manages...
Right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will focus...
As a manager, he's improved players everywhere he's been, from whether it's Raheem Sterling at Liverpool to the players...
that fans are allowed back inside this football stadium in many, many months. Gents, thanks very much. Right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will focus on...